Webcasting from Southeast Kansas, I'm Jonathan Switzer, and this is your This Robotech Thing 2013 year in review. I decided to handle things a little bit differently this year. Last year, I made up a whole list of different things and broke it down into categories and bullet points and all that. This year, five things total. The five biggest things that happened in officially licensed Harmony Gold Robotech land. I will be talking a little bit about fan stuff after the list is done. I also have one more thing I did want to quickly mention and explain why it isn't on the list. But the five biggest things that happened in officially licensed Harmony Gold Robotech land in 2013. Number 5. The new DVD box set. The thing about the new DVD box set is it's the old DVD box set. It literally is. I've seen pictures inside it. They opened it up and look, it's all the blasted discs from the 17-disc A&E box set from a couple of years ago. Plus the 2-movie collection that came out earlier in 2013, which I'll be talking about further up on the list. And then one more disc that should have been with the 2-disc set. Now, to be fair, to be honest, putting out a new SKU of the Robotech box set makes sense from a retail standpoint. Or it would if there were more places to sell DVDs these days. But from an old school sort of retail standpoint, it makes sense to come with a new SKU with a little more new enticing stuff in it. I mean, I walked past that thing at Walmart several times. Priced at $40. Actually, not a bad price for all the material in there. Excuse me. But for the fans, for the folks who live and breathe Robotech, who really would like some new material, just seeing it out there, it taunts these people. It's a tease. It's it looks like a new thing, but it's not really a new thing. It's the same thing with a new picture on the front. A pleasing countenance. To be fair, it's a lovely object, but there's nothing new in it save a few extras that, again, should have been in the release earlier in the year. So, way to put Robotech out there in front of some people's eyes again, way to put it out there, for interested relatives to buy for a Christmas present, but we need something more. We do. How about fixing the audio, guys? How about recutting the opening back into the right shape again, please? Number 5. So, number 4. Number 4. What is number 4? Number 4 is the lawsuit. The lawsuit. You remember this, right? Right after San Diego Comic-Con, Harmony Gold decides to sue Hasbro. Because Hasbro put out a toy plane with swing wings, stickered up, decaled up, and slightly retooled to look like Jetfire. Now, Jetfire was a 1985 Autobot plane, which was in fact the VF-1S Super Valkyrie, the Super Veritech, from Macross, licensed from, I think originally licensed from the original manufacturer Matsushiro, And then later down the road, that license, continued, but under Bandai. Um, and it was done up in Autobot colors, red and white, and a little bit of black here and there. And thing is, to be perfectly fair to Harmony Gold, some of the detailing on the fighter plane that Hasbro just released for San Diego is much, much closer to a Valkyrie than it is to Jetfire. Some of the stripes are ordered differently, that makes it closer to Hikaru's red and white and black VF1S from Macross Do You Remember Love. It's got the little screw intake, the little screw space thruster things that you see all over the Valkyrie. Those don't appear on the Jetfire's deco. There's a lot of these little fiddly things that did seem to be Hasbro rather, treading a little too closely to what is in the United States Harmony Gold's IP. The whole thing was eventually settled out of court, with both sides, paying their own court costs. And I doubt anyone else, out here on the outside knows what exactly happened in the end. When they settle out of court, that stuff is secret. Don't know. Just don't know. But the thing it did in the court of public perception is it gave Harmony Gold another black eye, because they are widely perceived to just be these jerks who walk around, suing people and preventing, the U.S. market from getting Macross stuff legally. This did nothing to deter that perception. So again, another sore spot, another black eye, another problem for Harmony Gold. But at the same time, I kind of see where they were coming from. Number three. Robotech Love Live Alive was released. Robotech Love Live Alive is a clip show. It's a clip show of Robotech the New Generation using a framing device taken from the Japanese music video clip show, Mospita Love Live Alive, which was mostly a showcase for the music from that show. For the Robotech version, they decided not to do that. They decided not to go that route. There is concert footage used, but it's all edited together at the end. Wardrobe changes and all set to one song. It's kind of it's not very well edited overall. There's a lot of sloppy edits in the production, the narrative framing device kind of drops out for a spell in the middle, and it just winds up being a bunch of clips. The order of events is shuffled badly at one spot. It's a little rough. It does not come off like a product this many years in the making. It almost seems like a first or maybe a second draft of the film. Considering in a recent interview, Tommy Yoon said that he's got a couple more projects like this in the works that were sort of on the drawing board a few years ago when Carl Macek passed away. I would hope they take a few more passes on those when they get ready to release them. At the same time, I mean, it was a pleasant enough way to spend an evening, watching Robotech stuff. There were some lovely reorchestrations of some of the Robotech music by Scott Glasgow, and some of the new animation was pretty decent. And there, the glimpse at Dana Sterling, watching the Invid assume control of Reflex Point was kind of neat. Of course, that was also the clip that was played over and over again in promo for the project, and that's all you get of it. So that was kind of disappointing too. But it came in a 2-disc set with a copy of the Shadow Chronicles. And, for those who didn't have the Shadow Chronicles, it's actually, $13, $15. That's not bad. And for completists, that's still, fine. That's a couple of lunches, it's all right. But only for completists. But yeah, it came out. I actually didn't think it would come out this year. That's the silly thing. Excuse me, this many years in the works, I didn't think it would come out in 2013. And when it did appear, it was like, oh, hey, it's that thing. It's that thing I didn't think would come out. And I still have this complex about Robotech stuff. I still think, it'll never see the light of day. I still have that Carl Macek quote rattling around in my head. You'll never, in all your life, see any more Robotech animation. And yet, here were a few scraps of brand new Robotech animation. It's depressing. It's sad. It's really sad. I shouldn't have been that happy for just some scraps of new animation. Anyway, Love Live Live. It's a thing. It came out in 2013. Number 2. The Robotech Voltron crossover comic that came out on Christmas. The Robotech Voltron comic came out on Christmas. It was, this was their big San Diego news. They launched this news in advance of San Diego Comic-Con. That Dynamite Studios was going to be publishing a brand new Robotech comic series crossing over with Voltron Defender of the Universe. The two big anime properties of the 1980s in the United States. The two robot cartoons made up of an assemblage of, between the two of them, 5 different robot cartoons from Japan. Were going to cross over. And there was a cover, and there was Roy Fokker with a skull and crossbow, an eye patch over his eye, and a captain's coat and everything. And there's Lotor with his sword, and they came out on Christmas, and I read it, and I reviewed it, at my blog, sdf5x.wordpress.com, and short version of that review. It's pretty. But the dialogue's kind of bad. And it doesn't hang together all that well. And it seems like it should be like a prologue 0 issue, rather than, the actual honest-to-goodness first chapter. I would have thought the cool thing to do, the fun thing to do, would have been to start in media res, if that's how you pronounce that. I can't pronounce things. It should have started with, the universes crossed over. You're watching the collision of these things. And for $4, that's not a whole lot of value. But it's pretty. Oh, it looks really nice. It looks really, really nice. Elmer Damaso and the small army of colorists that worked on it should all be very proud of themselves, because they really sell this thing. It would almost behoove you to wait for the trade, and when the trade comes out, grab that and admire the artwork. But we'll see if they can turn this ship around because there's two more things. There's particular things about this book that I do really need to mention. One of them is Bill Spangler. Bill Spangler, Robotech writer extraordinaire, Bill Spangler, who gave us such glorious titles as the Malkin Uprisings and Invid War. He is coming back to take over the scripting chores with issue number 3. He's doing the last 3 issues of that, and maybe he can pull this thing out. I hope he can. At the very least, the dialogue will improve. Spangler last worked on Robotech in '96. That was a long time ago now. It is depressing to think about the fact that we are now sitting here with next year being the 30th anniversary of Robotech, and we were getting comics regularly from 85 to 1998. That is 13 years. 13 years of Robotech's 30-year history. That was a good run. That was a really good run. There were some terrible comics in that time. But, some of those books still hold up to this day. Some of those books are still remarkably solid. Some of those books, a lot of those books are still kind of fun. And, for what it's worth, for as bad as it kind of is, it is just nice to have Robotech comics back. But unfortunately, we probably won't. This will probably be the end of it again. Because the first issue of Robotech Voltron only did about 6,000 copies in print. And it's bi-monthly, which is poison. Which kills the momentum, especially in a story that is paced like a book from 10 years ago. With not many words in it, and very minimal amount of panels per page, positively glacial pace. It's not a satisfying unit in and of itself, and it's coming out bi-monthly. And dear God, I hope Spangler does turn this thing around. I hope he gives us a few more words per page, a few more character interactions, fills in some of that characterization that is sorely missing from that first issue. But I think issue 3 is probably too little too late. And I'm pretty sure by issue 3 this thing will be off of the Diamond Top 300 charts. It'll be below 3,000 copies, and it will be unfortunate. And we will not get any Robotech comics afterwards. So, I guess we'll enjoy it while it lasts. But at the very least, I do still think that the return of Robotech to the Diamond catalog, the return of Robotech to comic store shelves, is a significant enough thing that it is number 2 on the list. I'm almost too tired to talk about number 1. But the number one story, the big one, the one that, dominated 2013, the one that actually made me feel good about Robotech again, was the Robotech RPG Tactics Kickstarter that made over $1 million from Robotech fans, from Macross fans, from fans of the Macross Mecca. They made $1 million. They met their goal, they met most of their stretch goals, and, they got to, make things on better cardstock, and they got to, package things better, and they got to, do all of these exciting, cool things that they wanted to do with this set. And, man, it's a shame They missed their shipping date. Let's be fair. They did miss their shipping date. You know, they expected to get all of these little miniature mecha out to fans for Christmas, and that didn't happen. They certainly had a timetable at one point, and you know, things happen. You know? But anywho, I mean, they made $1 million damn. You know, that was a positive Robotech story, and I'm so happy that there was a positive Robotech story during the calendar year 2013. You know, something that, you know, we could all hang our hats on and go, good job, guys. You know, you made a ridiculous amount of money, and, you know, ultimately we will get a product, you know, sometime, maybe first quarter of this year, that we can, you know, we can all enjoy and take a step back and go, wow, for once in the last decade plus, it's really good being a Robotech fan. Look at this cool stuff we got. Look at this cool stuff we got. And, you know, and as I understand it, you know, I mean, designs have already been, you know, put into CAD for Robotech Masters, and that's really the point where I cannot wait to see what comes up, even if it's another year or so. Because after all, you know, we're going to get the Kickstarter ones, and then, of course, they're going to release it, you know, full on, you know, to the general public. And they're going to, you know, get to, and they're going to roll out, you know, the boxed game, and they're going to roll out all the additional pieces that, you know, that are sort of the experimental mecha and everything that you know, the backers are going to get early. And there's going to be a whole timetable for this thing, and then, you know, once that whole, you know, cycle is done, then of course we get, you know, Robotech Masters. So, no, I don't expect to see that for another year, especially considering we don't have the set yet. But you know, but I'm still feeling good about that whole thing, and, you know, I'm still excited to get my set in the mail, and, you know, sit down and learn to put, you know, fiddly little figures together. That's gonna be fun. So that was the number one story. That was the number one, you know, official Harmony Gold licensed story of the year. You know, and it was a good story. It was a feel-good story. It was a great story. But, you know, meanwhile, you know, you've got fans making cool stuff. You know, you've got, for instance, you know, the guys at the Robotech Visions, you know, Facebook page, you know, putting out all kinds of cool fan art, you know, images of things that, you know, we probably will never see Harmony Gold actually touch again. Because a lot of it is sort of that middle, you know, post-Masters, pre-New Generation era that is so intriguing and so fascinating, you know, that was explored, you know, pre-Robotech.com canon with Bill Spangler and Tim Eldred's Invidor. I love those comics. Those are great comics. They don't exactly jibe with the animation, you know, and they only sort of work with, you know, the McKinney novels. This being the one I had on hand, which is much earlier than that story area. But, you know, you know, seeing something a lot closer to what is implied by the original television animation, you know, and done as well as it's being done, is so cool to see. And, you know, it just makes me weep that, you know, we never will see proper storytelling in that era because, you know, of a certain amount of disinterest, you know, down there on Sunset Boulevard. But the big one that launched, you know, in the new year is Robotech Valkyrie Project. You know, bunch of fans down in Argentina, you know, doing a Spanish language Robotech fan film. Now, I sat down and watched the first episode of this, of about 10 minutes of cool stuff, and the subtitles were acting up. And I don't understand or speak a lick of Spanish. But I sat there. I sat there and watched this. And, you know, it's just so cool to look at. It looks like it, you know, the acting, I mean, who am I to judge? I don't understand any Spanish, but the acting seems pretty good. And the visuals, you know, some of it is obviously, you know, oh, this is the best we could do, you know, because it's a fan film. But, you know, the CG is pretty solid. It's, you know, incredibly watchable. It's not, you know, distracting or bad or anything. And, you know, what I could understand of it was definitely intriguing, and it looks really nice. I'm impressed. I like it. I think I'll go over it again, see if you know, I can get the subtitles on YouTube to work right. But you know, it looks like some good stuff. You know, it is much like, you know, much in the same way that I think, you know, it's nice to see, you know, proper Robotech product, you know, out and about. You know, it's nice to have Robotech comics back. It's nice to see, you know, Love Life Alive finally released. But it's so much nicer to see something that you can look at and go, you know, this is a nice polished product, you know, that somebody put a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of fan enthusiasm into, and it is a nice polished piece of work, and you know, kudos for that. And that provides a nice segue to a bit of vaporware, another live-action Robotech project that was talked about a year ago now. The live-action movie. There's a reason that's not on my list. There's a reason that's not there, because just like every other announcement that has been made about the live-action movie since Transformers came out in theaters, crickets. I hear the sound of crickets. Nada, nothing. You know, we get that one announcement, and then the stupid Leonardo DiCaprio rumor. And that's it. You know, it remains vaporware. The live-action movie remains this, you know, this suggestion, this possibility, this, you know, this giant, gaping, empty hole that people keep throwing their hopes and their dreams into. And, you know, we got a director. Nobody ever confirmed that Nick Matthews said, I will be the director of Robotech. Nobody confirmed that. It was offered to him. And then you go and you look at, all these other things he's attached to, and it's like, you know, he's going to do all these other things and Robotech? Really? That's going to happen? So, you know, again, unless, I mean, I will talk about this stuff. I'll talk about this stuff till I'm blue in the face. It's kind of fun to talk about, but I'm not going to care. I'm not going to care. Now, a little programming update. I've got a couple of things planned for the near future. I'm going to be doing something for the 29th anniversary of the show in March. I might be doing like some little bites here and there, some little, you know, video essays, but no full-length shows for the foreseeable future. You know, aside from this one, which is, you know, starting about clocking in about 40 minutes right now, before intro and credits are edited in. So, you know, I just want to thank everybody for their for continuing to subscribe, for, you know, continuing to watch the shows. Now, there will be programming within the next year, but you know, it will be a little limited until I can get on some more stable ground, let's say. On that note, thank you for watching again. We'll be seeing you throughout the new year, and you know, this is Captain JLS signing off, guys.
Watch out, Louie! I think it's going to attack us! Lieutenant. It's not going anywhere.